So if you're serious about your Mac security, you probably think you've got all your bases covered, right? Well, what if I told you there are two pretty common threats that your standard protections might completely miss? That's what we're digging into today.
You lock your screen, you close the lid, maybe you even use a hotel safe. You think you're good. But what happens if someone actually gets physical access to your machine, even for just a moment? Is your password really enough? It's probably time we challenge that assumption.
So we're not going to be talking about the usual suspects here, things like viruses or phishing emails. We're going deeper, exploring two more advanced and, frankly, way more sneaky types of attacks that security professionals really worry about.
All right, this first threat has a pretty memorable name, the Evil Maid Attack. And it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. This isn't about hacking you over the internet. This is about someone physically getting their hands on your machine when you're not around.
I mean, just imagine this exact scenario. You do everything right. You even use the hotel safe. But a determined attacker gets access anyway and compromises your device directly. The real question is, how would you even know it happened?
Now, the second threat, well, it flips the script completely. It isn't an attacker trying to get in. It's malicious software that's already on your system trying to phone home to its creator.
So let's break that down. On one side, you've got the Evil Maid attack. That's a physical threat. On the other, you have network exfiltration, a digital threat from within. These are two completely different problems, and they're going to require completely different solutions.
Okay, so how do we defend against someone physically tampering with our laptop? We need a kind of digital security guard that watches the device itself, specifically watching for when that lid gets opened.
And that solution is a tool called Do Not Disturb. It's a free, open-source application created by Patrick Wardle, who just happens to be a former NSA researcher. And that right there adds a huge layer of credibility. He's an expert in this field, and his tools are highly respected.
The way it works is actually simple but incredibly effective. The moment someone opens your laptop's lid, the tool logs the event. And if you connect it to your phone, it can send you an immediate alert. It can even snap a photo with the webcam. You'd know instantly if your device was being accessed when it shouldn't be.
Okay, so we've secured the physical machine. But what about that malware trying to sneak data out? For that, we need a bouncer for our internet connection, someone watching the door for any suspicious characters trying to leave.
And this is the key gap in most people's security. The default macOS firewall is fantastic at blocking unwanted inbound connections, but it doesn't really monitor outbound traffic. If malware is already on your system, it can often communicate out to its command and control server without any issue at all.
The solution here is another excellent free tool from the same developer, called Lulu. The name actually comes from the Hawaiian word for protection or shield, which is a perfect description of what it does.
So how does it build our defense? Well, Lulu watches every single program that tries to connect to the internet. The first time a new app tries to go online, Lulu stops it and asks for your permission. To help you decide, it can automatically check the app against VirusTotal, which is a massive database of malware, and it can even show you which process launched it. This gives you incredible control.
Just imagine, this alert pops up on your screen. An app you don't recognize is trying to connect to a suspicious server. Then you see the VirusTotal score. 12 different security vendors have flagged it as malicious. The choice becomes pretty obvious, right? You hit block. Without this tool, that connection could have happened silently in the background.
Now, these tools sound amazing, and they are. But, and this is a big but, like any powerful security measure, they come with a trade-off. This isn't a simple install and forget solution. It requires your attention.
The biggest challenge is something called alert fatigue. When you first install a tool like Lulu, it's going to generate a lot of pop-ups as it learns which programs you trust. The danger is that you get so used to clicking allow that you just stop paying attention.
And this is the critical takeaway. The effectiveness of these tools depends entirely on you. The moment you start mindlessly clicking allow and stop paying attention, the tool becomes virtually useless. You have to stay engaged.
And there's one more catch. These tools are not a magic bullet. If a highly skilled attacker is targeting you specifically and knows you're using Do Not Disturb or Lulu, they can potentially devise methods to bypass them. It's always a cat and mouse game.
So ultimately, it all comes down to a trade-off. These tools offer a much higher level of security, but they demand more of your attention. They exchange seamless convenience for powerful awareness. So the final question is for you. Where is your line? How much friction are you willing to accept for true peace of mind?
That's a choice every security-conscious user has to make.